Industrial University. And today, in the turning point, we have a very, very experienced face before us, Dr. Mona Gogia, and she is Vice President, Regulatory Affairs. She has 24 years of more than over 24 years of experience in research, in regulatory, quality, compliance, which encompasses formulation development, which is very, very, unique, area, which is very, very complex area. Formulation development and approval of marketing authorizations of pharmaceutical generic products, vaccines, biological products, and clinical trial protocols in various countries across continents, not only limited to India. She is also instrumental in GMP inspections, pharmacovigilance, business development, and more. There is so much, of credentials which was actually shared by Priyanka with us, but it is very difficult for us to compress in this limited time. We will prefer, to listen from her more, and we can share her credentials with our students later. So it's time now to set the objective and with opening remarks from Abhinand sir. So over to Abhinand sir for his opening remarks.
Good morning to you all, friends. I see a very sparse people today joining because of the exam results. And first of all, good luck to all. Even the kids are getting into exam mode, so they are more into study mode. And thank you, Pradeep ji, for being instrumental in organizing this leadership series, which is a dream run by our CMD sir, to get all the wisdom from Kadila to the upcoming bright students of Industrial University, so that they get some flavor of corporate world. So whenever they are getting into the corporate world, they understand what kind of questions are being asked and how to present themselves. Today's topic is quite legitimate and important in today's world, giving a presentation skill, and no better can do it than Mona madam. She has been instrumental in giving presentation to big regulatory affairs, to even the US FDA, the tough guys, the tough audit guys, how to crack them. Today, even in your important things in your life, you have to give a presentation skill. वो शादी के लिए कोई भी जाता है तो भी presentation skill चाहिए. You are meeting with some friend, trying to impress, you need a presentation skill. Today you are giving a interview, you require a presentation skill. So it is quite an important skill in your life, how to be able to give this quite important presentation, and what elements has to be taken into account from being, your tie-ups to everything, what words you have to speak and other things. It's quite important and relevant in today's world. So from being at KG level, when you are going in the first standard till the age of 60, you are giving it. Recently, I was listening to one of my gurus interview, Dr. Ramcharan, and I was able to see with Rita McGrath. He was such fabulous in giving presentation. I always see him in a pure white shirt, always. He's able to give it such a flawless interview at the age of 70. So I can understand, that skill is so important at every stage of life. And over to Pradeep ji. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhinand sir. Before I invite Pradeep sir, what you said, sir, was very, very apt, especially because presentations and skills have become inevitable part of our work life and also in academia. So students will benefit most with this presentation skills, because these days, to whichever way you learn, but there is one expectation from everyone, whether it is faculty or from the industry, that if you know presentation, can you present that? So this is how, we have kept this presentation skills as a topic which is very pertinent to our students. So over to Pradeep sir for his remarks, opening remarks.
Thank you so much, Dr. Namrata. Thank you so much, Abhinand sir. Thank you so much, the entire panel, Mr. A.P. Vyas and Ms. Bharti Dave. And a special thanks and welcome Dr. Mona Gogia to this forum of Turning Point, which itself, the name itself suggests why it has been created, and it truly is serving the purpose, the reason which it has been created. So the name is Turning Point. People are going from this campus to corporate, and that's going to be. And today it is going to be very, very relevant for all of us. As it's seen, yesterday it was raining hard, and everyone could feel whenever lightning comes, first it is seen, then it is heard. So this means visual impact is very important. This means something which can be seen is always important, something which can be heard. So this is the word which everyone needs to create a very good visual impact, rather visual delight. And for that, no more speaker can be better than Dr. Mona Gogia. Ma'am, only I have heard about you from Ms. Priyanka and other sources, since I'm working in L&D department of Cadila Pharma. So I keep on listening about the people in Cadila Pharma, and I feel so proud being part of such a great organization. And the dream which was seen by our founder chairman, Shri Indervadan Lal Modi, is taking a great shape today. So ma'am, with this, over to you.
So before I start, I just want to know, I cannot see the students.
Yes, madam, they have a special, this thing. We have
This
a special
more
webinar
webinar.
schedule. Yeah, so in webinar, we cannot permit students to put on their videos. As well, chat also is possible, but then videos is not permissible.
You can invite their means feedbacks through chat box, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a little difficult to interact with the students without having a look at them. I wish they were on the screen.
We can become their voice also at times, and they also can put it, their expressions in the chat box.
Abhinan, you should have told me this, otherwise I would have landed up in Indrashil University directly today, for a one-to-one.
Most welcome, madam. But most of the kids, as per government regulations, are not allowed. So we are all virtual since last almost 6 months.
Okay, you are online. The university
Online, yes.
is not open as of now. Okay. So we have no option. Strange at the time. We have to deal with it. So
Yes.
we have no option actually. Okay, students, although I'm not able to see you, but I can feel you over there. I can look at you through your through the organizers who are there in front of me in the screen. So please feel free to talk to me via the chat box, and which can be in turn relayed to me through Dr. Namrata or Abhinan or all others who are present and whom I can actually visualize. So Indrashil University is very dear to me. And why it is dear to me is because it was founded in the memory of our founder chairman. And I have been working with Cadila for the past 12 years. And I have a special bonding with Cadila. So the university and hence the students and the faculty are all very, very dear to me. So having said that, a little bit about what I do in Cadila before we jump into the presentation skills and all. I work with Cadila in a department called Regulatory Affairs. I don't know whether you all are familiar or not, because I guess all students are from bachelor's degree and master's degree here. So regulatory affairs is a common department in most of the pharmaceutical industries which are into export of medicines. So when we actually export medicines, it is not like jewelry or not like any consumer item for which you do not need special approvals, but medicines form a very important industry, and it is a very highly regulated industry, which means that if I have to export medicines manufactured by Cadila to other countries, I have to seek approval from other countries before I can place my medicines in the market. So this process is known as seeking a marketing authorization from the respective country. So all countries, they have regulatory agencies, their own regulatory agencies who regulate the pharmaceutical industry. So whenever, for example, I have to market my product in US, so I have to go to the regulatory authority of US and give them the information about the medicines that I want to export to US. They are going to evaluate the information and determine that it is safe, it is efficacious, and it is manufactured in plants which follow good manufacturing practices, and then they give the approval to market the medicines. Now, this is not an easy process, because in order to give this information, we have to work a lot. We have to develop medicines in such a manner that they can comply with the requirements of that particular country. And then the review process itself is around 18 months to 24 months, after which we are allowed to market our product. So it is a difficult journey. It's a time-consuming journey, but it is very interesting. So Cadila, for your information, works in operates in more than 50 countries, and must be around 70 to 80 countries now. And each country has its own set of regulations. So you can imagine how difficult our life is to cater to the requirements of all countries, to satisfy each and every country requirements. So my department is involved in making, how do we give the information? We give the information in the form of a dossier, and that dossier has safety related information, efficacy related information, manufacturing related information, and that's how we submit that information to the regulatory authorities, and they give us, if they are satisfied, they give us approval. If they're not satisfied, they need to seek more clarifications from us. We have to answer to their queries, and then they evaluate those responses, and then finally give us the marketing authorization. Since you all are from science background, there may be a possibility that many of you may join the pharma industry going forward. So this, I hope this little information will be useful to you in your career if you intend to join pharmaceutical industry. So one very important aspect of any career, because you are students now, going forward, you may decide to go into research, you may decide to join a corporate function, you may decide to have your own business. You may go into academics. There are so many options available to you. But the common thing in each of these career options is presentation. Okay, it is very, very important right from the beginning. I would say anybody who enters into adulthood should be very well aware of how one needs to present himself or herself. And this skill becomes a platform for your career growth. So it not only helps in the career growth, but it also helps in giving you a sustained career. So your family relations, your relationship with your friends, relationship with your teachers, your professional, your bosses, everything depends on your presentation skills. And I would even want not only the ones who enter into adulthood, but this skill should start developing right in the adolescent stage. Because going forward, these are the skills which will really make your personality. It will shape up your personality. So I have a very short presentation, which we will use as a discussion point. But of course, this particular topic is so broad that we can talk the whole day about it and yet not complete it. But I just tried to hit upon the important points in a very small presentation, which I hope I can share. Do I have the sharing rights? Namrata ji, do I have the sharing rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. At the bottom of the screen, you have a share screen and you can see the presentation.
Yeah.
Share screen, yes. Let's see.
Yeah.
So is it visible to you all?
Yes, madam.
Okay. So I have targeted presentation of soft skills. The soft skills which are important not only in the academics, but it has to start right from the academic level and has to be continued when you are into your career, your own entrepreneurship, your new ventures, academics, whatever it may be in your professional growth. So you need soft skills at each and every point in your life. So you may have heard actually people talking of soft skill, but what exactly is a soft skill? So soft skill is not a technical skill, let me tell you. It is not technical knowledge. It is not even your educational qualification. So it is a skill which evaluates how a particular individual would behave, perform, or present himself or herself in any given situation. The soft skill, it encompasses the particular skills of an individual, the behavior of that individual, how he presents himself, and most importantly, the attitude. So we will talk a little bit about everything in the coming up slides. So if you see, the universe of soft skills may be very huge, but I have just listed over here the skills which I feel are very essential in the student life. So because once you start developing the skills, nobody is born with skills, let me tell you, okay? So the skills have to be developed. And student life is the best point in your lifetime when you can develop the skills. So to start with, the important skills which I feel the student should develop are listed over here. And they are teamwork, interpersonal skills, communication, listening, positive attitude, your etiquettes, your creative thinking, your honesty, problem solving, and decision making. So we will talk on some of these because in a short period of time, it is not possible to discuss each one in detail, but I have discussed few of them, which I think are very, very important for a student. So teamwork. So we are social animals. We all agree. We do not live alone in this world. So we have to share the universe with other individuals. Nothing in this world is a single entity. If you consider your own body, your body itself is a teamwork play. So all your organs, all your biological systems, they work in tandem. If they were not working in tandem, you would never be an individual. So whether it is student life, whether it is a family, whether it is your friendship circle, whether it is academics or your career, your business, everywhere teamwork will come into picture. So what does teamwork mean? Teamwork means not working as an individual, but working in a group of individuals. So when you work in a group of individuals, how do you work? So you need to have a very ambient environment. You need to gel with other individuals in order to perform. Teamwork has just one objective. It doesn't have an individual objective. The objective is common for all the individuals in the team. So how do you work with others is what is teamwork. In a team, each and every person should not think about their own self, but they have to actually value the other team members' opinion. They have to recognize, appreciate, and value the skills that the other person has. Because in a team, different people would be having different skills. And each of the skills is important for the final objective of the teamwork. So that is how, if you do not value the other people's opinion, do not appreciate the skills that other person has, if you're just focused upon your own self, your own contribution in the team, you're self-centered, you cannot be a good team member. So if you need to be a team member, you have to consider how the objective of the team could be achieved utilizing the skills of each and every person or each and every team member. Now here comes a very important role of leadership. So someone in the team should show leadership qualities. So unless somebody shows a leadership quality who can just string all the beads, a team is like what? You have number of beads and you have a string. So unless you string all the beads and make a necklace out of it, the team cannot perform. So one member in the team should be a leader, and that leader should be focused on all the team members, how the other team members can contribute, whether all the team members get along with each other or not, because every individual has their own personality, own traits. I may not like the traits of one single person, or I may like the traits of some another person, but you have to ignore what you don't like, and you have to work towards the objective of the team, ignoring what you don't like about the other team members, but utilizing their potential. Okay, so when you are a student, and you are given projects, so there are 5 people in a team, they all have to do a certain project. So automatically, what happens, one person takes the lead in the team, and then they divide the work. So team A, member A has to do something, member B has to do something, and then somebody, the leader usually, they correlates all the work, and then they present it. Suppose a member A is not able to perform, he or she has got some issues, some problems, then the other members take over. So this is what is called team building. You don't think of yourself as an individual, मुझे तो इतना ही करना था, इससे ज़्यादा नहीं करना है, भले ही दूसरे person को कोई problem आ रही है. The team member is now, he has COVID, he or she has COVID. So team B, member B should take up, for what the member A should be performing. Interpersonal skills. Now, this is something like we have to develop. Nobody was born with manners, Manners are taught. When you grow up, these are good manners, these are bad manners. You should do this, you should not do that. So, from a behavioral aspect, okay. So you have to acknowledge that mannerism is something which will affect your interpersonal relationship. How do you interact with others? That is interpersonal skills. So two people, two individuals, how do they interact with each other? So if you make a sullen face, you don't smile at all and say hello, nobody would want to talk to you. But if you greet that person, hello, good morning, how are you? Everybody would like to take the conversation to the next level. So it depends. Unfortunately, I'm not able to see you, but it would have been wonderful to see you and to interact with you personally when we talk of interpersonal skills. How do you talk to a person? Do you look into his or her eye while talking, or you look here and there and then talk to the person? Nobody would want to be talked to with a divided attention. Everybody would like to seek attention, So these are certain things, how you are talking. What is your posture when you are talking? Suppose, for example, you are standing and talking to an individual with a hand on your hips, and your body language is something like a bossy kind of a body language. It is not very taken very well, especially if you're meeting somebody for the first time. So the first impression when you meet with a person, a stranger, it is the way how you greet, how you interact, how you talk, and what your body language is while you are talking to the person. One very important aspect of interpersonal skill is how you carry out a conversation. So there are some people, I'm sure even the students and the academics and all the senior members here in this forum would know that there are certain people, who like to talk on their own. So they will simply keep talking and will not listen to what the others have to say, or will not even give an opportunity to others for talking. So when you are carrying out a conversation, have short conversations, give opportunity to the other person to talk, listen to what they are talking, give pauses in your own conversation, and always keep in mind what exactly are you talking. So are you talking something out of the context? So for example, the person whom you are meeting is an artist, and you start talking about the nitty-gritties of cricket with him, and he has got absolutely no interest in cricket, the conversation goes out of context. It loses interest. That person would never talk to you again, so he would not want to be talked to you again, because you are bringing in conversation which is out of context. So usually in student life, when you meet strangers, as you grow, you from student life, you come into your professional life, and in professional life, you change your careers. Sometimes you are working in a pharmaceutical company, otherwise you're working in an engineering company or in an IT industry. You change your career. Then what happens is, like, sometimes you yourself feel at a loss of words when you carry out a conversation. So it will be good, if you keep yourself updated. Reading is something very important. Keeping yourself updated with current affairs, keeping yourself updated about what's happening around you, what's happening around in the world. So because it gives you a topic to talk to about strangers, and that's how you break the barriers. And these are the icebreakers actually in connecting with people. So my advice to students is, please do not stop reading. Academics is something, but your general knowledge, reading newspapers, listening to the news, and of course, social media is giving you a lot of inputs. So keep yourself up to date on what's happening in the world. And if possible, please take interest in one or the other outdoor activities. So when I say outdoor activity, it means one or the other outdoor sports. It not only keeps you in good health, but it also enriches your knowledge of sports activities. One other very important interpersonal skills attribute is, how do you reach out to people? Okay, so now in times of COVID, you may have experienced that there will be so many families, so many people who need help, So the ones who have actually gone, there are several people and several good people in this world, who have done wonders during these difficult times. They have helped the COVID affected families like anything. They are reaching out to the children who have been orphaned by this COVID times, and they are doing so many things for those children. So it comes from within, So if you hear that a friend of Abhinan is in need of such and such thing, which I have access to and I can provide, I will reach out to Abhinan, that Abhinan, I want to help your friend, and reach out to that person. So please help me in getting in touch with that person to whom I can contribute something, whose life I can make it a little simpler. Or for example, you have in your neighborhood, you have senior citizens who are unable to go to the hospitals. Please reach out to them and say that I will take you to the hospital. I will connect you with a good doctor who can help you out. So not only in COVID, in non-COVID times also, such gestures are very, very appreciated. And I'll tell you, they're going to remember throughout your life in taking that one extra step in helping out people. So if you see many of what do you say, the labor class people, for example, the maids, the gardeners, the small time vegetable vendors, they all were very much affected because of COVID. So if you just go an extra mile, buy vegetables from the small vendors rather than buying it from big malls and all, it will help out that person. You see all these gestures and WhatsApp messages also. So please start implementing those messages. So I've seen people, they will spend so much of money in say buying a branded handbag or a branded shoes worth 5,000 rupees. But when it comes to buying a vegetable, which is say 50 rupees a kg, they will say, no, 50 is too much. Why don't you give it to me for 40 rupees a kg? So 10 rupees won't affect you much, but see the other person, those 10 rupees are really helpful for the person from whom you're buying the vegetables. So please reach out to people. This is a very good attribute which connects you with the other person. Etiquettes. This is a function, or this is an attribute in your presentation, which could be a make or break situation also, So you may get a job, or you may not get a job because you didn't have the etiquettes of presenting yourself in an interview. Because whatever it is, the first impression really makes an impact. So if you want the first impression to make an impact, you need to develop etiquettes. It doesn't come in one day, mind you, okay? It comes in after you have faced the situation, after you have grown up, where when you gain a little more maturity, then these things develop in you. So when we were growing in our career, nobody taught us that these are the important points, we learned it on the job. But I really wish that we had learned it much earlier in our career. Somebody had actually explained to us the impact an etiquette could have on your professional growth, on your business growth, or whatever you are doing for a living in your life. So in etiquette, you have a number of small subpoints. So for example, dressing. So dressing is an important part of etiquette because you have to dress up to which is suited for the occasion. So if you are going for an interview, you cannot dress up like you are going for a wedding. And you cannot go to a wedding dressed up as if you are going to go for a mountaineering expedition. So you have to be suited for the job, which is in interviews, in formal locations. You have to be, your dressing should be very subtle and very appropriate for the situation. So when I say appropriate for this situation, I don't mean to say that you have to wear a 5,000 rupees shirt or 10,000 rupees shoes or a branded trouser. No, it's not that. Whatever you wear, it should be clean, it should be pressed, it should be crisp, it should not be torn. So that when somebody looks at you, they get an impact that how particular you are in ensuring that your shoes are polished without a drop of without a particle of dust, how particular you are in ensuring that your shirts and trousers are wrinkle free. So it gives you a good impression when you talk of dressing. Now, grooming is an extended version of dressing. You can be in the best of the dresses, but yet you do not maintain your hair, or you don't take a bath and put on the best of the shirt. You don't maintain body hygiene. So those are the things which are not appreciated and will be a limitation in your interpersonal skills. You will not be able to connect to people if you do not follow good hygiene practices and good grooming practices. Your body language. Body language is something which people don't give a thought about. So the way you stand, the way you have eye contact. So when I say you should have eye contact with the person, when you talk to that person, that doesn't mean you have to stare them. So the eye contact, the degree of eye contact, the behavior of eye contact should be appropriate. So sometimes what happens, you don't know strangers, and especially for men, men talking to women, and they are meeting for the first time, and then they put just an arm around the shoulder. It will not be taken in a very good manner by the female. So limit yourself to the use of your hand movements, your appropriate eye movements. They should be limited. And at the same time, I don't recommend that your movement should show as if you have got no energy at all. So your energy level should be high. That doesn't mean that you start fidgeting, doing this, or if you have, for example, drooping shoulders, and you don't, somebody's talking to you and you're not even looking up, to that person. So even with much persuasion, if somebody is not able to initiate a conversation because of your body language. So here the body language is so very important, you know, voice modulation. So when I talk to you on a one-to-one basis, you're sitting in front of me, I will have to modulate my voice. The pitch of my voice is going to be suited for a room where only two persons are talking to each other. When I'm doing an online conversation with you, I'm going to raise a little voice, you know, I'm going to modulate my voice a little so that it goes through the mic and reaches you. When I'm in a big presentation hall, I will even have to make my voice a little more higher to make myself heard. But when it comes to voice modulation, remember a thin line. Sometimes when you raise your voice, it should not appear that you are raising, that it's an angry voice. It is showing your displeasure. No. So you have to actually gain the skill of voice modulation. Singers, you know, when they sing live, they have to modulate their voice using the mic. So they are trained in that because that's how the voice, how it comes out, you know, it depends on of course, the mic quality, but also the distance between the mouth and the mic. So they have to learn that. You cannot, otherwise the song will not be perceived very well by the audience. So these are certain small points that you have to take care in etiquette. The other point is also jewelries and the associated personal, although they're very, very personal, I'll tell you. You may be you may be loving the tattoos or the piercing, but it somehow is not very suited. In a casual environment with your friends, it may be suited. You can use all this, but when you go to a professional setup, when you really mean serious business, then you have to be a little more careful about what kind of jewelry you are wearing, what kind of, the whole body is tattooed, you know. So okay, I know you love tattoos, but that doesn't mean that you present yourself in that manner. Or sometimes the tattoos may be very personalized, you know. It may be related to your religion, or it may be a little offensive to somebody else's religion, and these are not perceived very well. So you have to take care of that. As you grow in your career, as you enter into your professional career, your business, you have to deal with your vendors, you have to deal with other professionals, you have to expand your business, you have to go and talk to others to get some business out of them. And you invariably you end up having lunch meetings or brunch meetings or dinner meetings. And when you have such kind of meetings, be a little careful about your dining etiquette. So when I say dining etiquettes, it doesn't mean that you don't eat the way normally you eat, but things like making noise on the table, on the plate, you know, you are using a fork when you don't know how to use a fork. You rather use your hand rather than the fork if you're not familiar with using a fork. Do not make noises on the table, you know, tuck 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 करके आवाज कर करके पे खाओ तो मुंह इतना बड़ा बड़ा खोल करके खाओ, then it looks offensive, because after all, the person in front of you is going to give you business and you have to create the best impact on that person. So do not make noises while eating, or do not slurp. You know, when you have to, you may have watched people sipping tea by making noises. कैसे आवाज करते हैं, you know, सूप पीते हैं तो बहुत बड़ी बड़ी आवाजें करते हैं. Okay, मतलब it is there, but try to avoid it especially when you are with a stranger, you know, because sometimes it may not look very, very it may be offensive, you know. Similarly, like suppose somebody while eating, you know, he tends to sneeze. So you have to be very careful. The food is there in front of you. You cannot sneeze into the food. You have to do like this, you know, you have to be away from the food and sneeze. so that it doesn't become offensive to other persons.
Madam, sorry to interrupt you. With no offense, actually, IT team has informed me that due to technical glitch, it may end any time. Some Zoom has created trouble, So we will continue, but certainly very sorry that this may happen, So I also thought of, as an etiquette that I should inform you.
Thank you very much. But do I have a time limit, madam? Because I
No,
didn't transfer.
anytime it can get disconnected. So I was little worried, how to, do that. So, but of course, in advance, I will certainly, acknowledge the pain you have taken and, given us time. So thank you so much, madam. But please continue. We are so eager to go through this, or maybe we'll continue, later on also. But please, madam, continue.
It is getting so much interesting, actually.
Exactly.
And how we can blame this technology for this?
No, in fact, we want madam, because otherwise also madam said it's a very broad, topic. So maybe, in stretch of 2, sessions, perhaps we'll be able to, do justice to this, wide topic. Sorry, madam, we would like you to have, for another, a day and a session. But sir, in the meantime, please continue.
Yeah, sure. And the last point which is mentioned on this slide is the online etiquettes, So now, because of the COVID, everybody is having online classes, online meetings, online webinars, online training sessions. So if you have to follow a certain degree of online etiquette, so if you would recall, when it just started in the beginning of 2020, there were such hilarious WhatsApp messages about how people not being appropriately dressed and putting on their video on, or not putting themselves on mute and having a conversation with